mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to the Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I am joined by the man, his team, both our teams sitting atop of the MLB standings. Austin.
MLB is a stretch. I'd definitely say AL because there's like probably, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'd be like, the Rangers would be like 6th or 7th in the NL. And the Yankees would be a little bit above that because they have one more win. But both of the teams are doing well compared to NL or the AL standards. This doesn't necessarily have to be about standings, right? It can be about anything.
Yeah, just in general.
Okay, I'll go first. I think the Athletics are a top 5 hitting team this season.
Okay.
They are calling up Nick Kurtz, who is a very big prospect at Wake Forest. He was drafted, I think, 4th last year in the first round.
Yes.
Yeah,
number 4.
He looks amazing. And they already have Jacob Wilson and Tyler Soderstrom and Shea Langoliers and Brent Rooker and Lawrence Butler and a lot of talented players. And I'm extremely excited about what this team looks like going forward. Luis Severino is pitching well this season. I like JP Sears as well. They obviously have Mason Miller. This team looks extremely good, but just looking at their hitting, Jacob Wilson, Kevin, has walked 0 times this season.
Okay.
Do you know who Jacob Wilson is?
Yeah, he's shortstop.
He's shortstop. You're correct. I don't know if you know that from MLB The Show or from just watching the Athletics.
I feel like we predicted him. Like he's that young.
I wouldn't be shocked if we did. But he's extremely good this year, and he's batting like 330 something or 340 something with 0 walks. What's his name? Is it Soderstrom, who's on pace for the Barry Bonds, more home runs than Barry Bonds? I think it is Soderstrom.
I don't know about the player.
Yeah, it is Soderstrom. Yeah, he has 9 home runs already this season, and they just look extremely, extremely talented. When you look at like team statistics, when it comes to average and stuff like that, the Athletics are 11th right now on average. If you look at OPS, the Athletics are a little bit. Oh, wait, maybe I missed some. Yeah, they're 7th in OPS. So they're an extremely talented team when it comes to hitting the ball this year. Maybe they're not. They're 4th in slugging, so a top 5 team in slugging this year, and they're 11th in hits. So I think they're an extremely good team. It'll depend on how Kurtz plays. Obviously, they need another bat because some of the guys are struggling. But of the guys they do have, Lawrence Butler, Jacob Wilson, Tyler Soderstrom, Brent Rooker, it's looking like one of the best rosters. And it's crazy because they don't even have a name of a location in their name. They're just
Sacramento.
The Athletics. They're not Oakland or Sacramento or not LA, Las Vegas. Just Athletics.
Yeah, I'll stick to the AL West. My overreaction is just kind of it is my team, the Texas Rangers, but it was like they're gonna be a top team in the AL. But I do think that is an overreaction because of their hitting. Their hitting is really bad right now. Marcus Semien is struggling, and so I think they are winning close games, which is nice. But I do think when you look at their offense, it's really struggling, and you got to think about that bullpen. So overall, I think this is a great start for them, but there is a lot of problems that I think are being masked by their wins, and that is their hitting.
Okay.
Then you also have Cal Raleigh, the Seattle catcher. He is leading.
Who's
I
tied?
believe he's tied with Tyler Soderstrom, as you mentioned, with the Athletics. And really, Seattle looks like he's huge. He got a contract extension, but it looks like Seattle might be figuring out that offense as they are only one game back from the Texas Rangers in the AL West.
Entire AL West division, I mean, last place is 3 games back of the Rangers. So it's an extremely tight division. Right now, it looks like the best division in baseball, even though I don't think it'll finish out to be that. And the only reason why I say it's better than the AL West or the NL West is because the Rockies just tank that division. I mean, it's just you go 4 teams that's probably going to make the playoffs or are going to have like a fighting shot to make the playoffs. Right now, all 4 teams in the NL West would make the playoffs, Kevin, which is
NL
crazy.
West? Oh,
NL
yeah.
West.
Yeah, Dodgers.
But just the Rockies being the Rockies, it's really hard for me to say that they're a better division just because they're not winning a crazy amount more than the AL West, and they have a team like the Rockies that's just buffing up everybody's records.
Yeah, I agree. And kind of looking at that as well, the Padres are tied with the Dodgers with the number 1 spot, and that's pretty surprising to me, just given what they've kind of done. They've not necessarily gone all in, but they've kind of still played well. And I think kind of hit above their weight versus the Dodgers, who have just continued to spend money. That also could be an overreaction. Is Sasaki? Maybe it was an overpay. Maybe it wasn't the right idea for the Dodgers to bring in Sasaki, because I know he struggled a little bit recently.
Yeah. Sasaki's been fine, though.
Yeah. But what were you going to say?
I think an overreaction would be that the Royals are not good or that their season is over or something of that note. They are 9-14 to start as we're recording this, and they definitely need to start winning games. But I think injuries early in the season, and they're also a team that has experience making the playoffs. They have older guys on their roster, and they'll turn it around. I don't think certain guys are going to be this poor for the entirety of the season. For example, Vinny Pasquantino, someone that I think is a little bit underrated, hitting 195. You have Salvi Perez hitting 182. Like these aren't really numbers that I really think are going to stay around. And while Bobby Witt's hitting 307, everyone else on the roster is basically not hitting well, except for Michael Garcia. So I think that the Royals, you can pump the brakes on them being really bad this year. I still think they're going to be good.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you could say that with the Orioles as well. I know they're 9-12, and it's just difficult that they're in the AL East, but I think they'll figure it out. Another thing that we were kind of talking about this, I feel like an overreaction to the Ronald Acuna tweet and just kind of his beef. I think they'll work something out, and it's just kind of something going on outside the control as he's still rehabbing, but that to me was a surprising thing, but I don't think it means he's going to get traded or anything like that.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think he's going to get traded. I do think he's genuinely mad, though.
I think he can be mad, but I don't think it shows, there's an underlying issue that leads to him getting traded or him and the Braves kind of having a divide in their view.
Fair. I can agree with that. I do think he's genuinely mad, though.
Yeah, that's just a weird situation. And so, like, there could be some awkwardness, but I think an overreaction is Ronald Acuna is not going to play with the Braves again.
Okay. But let's do at least one thing that you think will stay. So something that's either for bad or for good, not an overreaction, something that you believe is true to how this season will play out.
And we'll rule out the Colorado Rockies, just kind of where they're at.
that's not really fair.
Yeah, no. Just wanted to make that joke. Ooh, man, that's tough. So something
I'll go
that
first. So
stays,
I'll go first to kind of give you a baseline. The Orioles will not win the AL East. I think that's not an overreaction. Their starting pitching is genuinely bad. Charlie Morton, Kevin, you talked about Jock Peterson, or I don't even know if you mentioned him with him not hitting well. I know you mentioned the Rangers not hitting well.
no, he was in our journeyman for the East.
Yeah,
not hitting well.
But he's really struggled this year, and he's the worst qualified hitter in the league, at least as we're recording. The worst qualified pitcher, Charlie Morton for the Orioles. They decided to replace Corbin Burns with Charlie Morton, and I like Charlie Morton, but he's 41. He's getting older, and they really, really struggle this year. And now I'm not saying the Orioles will miss the playoffs. I'm not saying that they will be a bad team this season, but I do not think that they will win the AL East. So that's something that I think will stick because they're unless they make a big trade, I just do not believe in their starting pitching enough for them to win a lot of games this year. They're right now, if you look at their ERAs, okay, you have Sugano, Tomoyuki, I think it is Tomoyuki Sugano. He's 3.43. That's not bad. You have Zach Eflin at a 3 flat, but then your other 3 starters, Kevin, 10.89 from Charlie Morton, Dean Krimmer 6.41, and Cade Pavich 6.38. So you have two pitchers right around 3, one guy a little bit above 3, one guy at 3, and then 3 guys all above 6, and one guy at almost 11. Their starting pitching is atrocious. Not to mention one more guy has started 1 game this year. Brandon Young has started 1 game. In that 1 start, 6.75 ERA. Their starting pitching ERA is by far the worst in the MLB. And I don't think that's a coincidence or an overreaction. I think that's something that's going to stay. Of course, Charlie Morton's ERA is not going to stay at 11, right? But I don't think they have good starting pitching, and I think that's something that's going to affect them all year. And without good starting pitching, you're not going to win enough games to win the AL East.
Okay, all right. I can understand that, and yeah, they did lose Corbin Burns and didn't really do a lot to replace him. I think what I think stays is the Mets stay atop of the NL East. They are 16-7 right now, and you have that Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, and they have a lot of other good players. I think Luis Angel Acuna is a very good player, and so I think they stay atop given what they have on the offensive side, and they have a solid pitching side as well. But we'll have to keep an eye on that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that gives kind of our overreaction, just kind of what we thought, because it's been a sizable amount of the early season in the MLB. Of course, there are tons of games as it is a 162 game season. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.